buying some expensive stuff. I'm like, I didn't make that much money. And then she breaks down and then she says, well, and then she tells me that she's pregnant and then she has been body packing go fast on her on these trips and taking it to Hawaii. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a child. I can't have my future wife. And I was living in San Francisco at the time. I'm like, I can't uh, obviously have this for my wife and child, right? So I had figured out a way that I could take 2 dinner plates and vacuum seal them, and they would be in the shape of a vinyl record, and then put them in my records. And then I would fly and take about 2 or 3 pounds of the stuff over there, make a couple of, $10,000, $20,000, right? And that went on for about a year. And then I finally said, and I'm not like, I'm playing with fire. I'm like, I can't keep, obviously doing this. So in order to get out, they're like, you got to put us in touch with somebody who could supply us. And I said, okay, I'll set up this meeting. Now, the guy that I knew had a pit bull, right? And this other guy, Dakota, had a pit bull. And this is what's crazy, is that we're talking about $1 million deal, right? And it started going south because one pit bull bit another pit bull, and he's like, no, he owes me $2,000 for this vet bill. I'm like, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know it's crazy to think how petty stuff gets, right? I'm like, you're talking about it. I'll pay for. He goes, no, you're not gonna pay. He's gonna pay for my stitches and my pit bull. And I'm like, okay, just forget. He goes, I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I say, look. So this Dakota guy, this was gonna be a great deal. He's gonna. I put him in touch with you. They take over the operation, and I just make some cream off the top. Next thing you know, you call me 3 days later. You're like, what happened to your guy? He locked me in a garage for 2 days, and I'm like, oh, you didn't hear. Go, and you can continue from the story. Go on, go. So tell me your end of it.
So all right, just to just to expand on what you're saying. So Emil had these guys who were doing this deal, an illegal deal that fell through, and I was brought in to redirect the deal to some other parties, let's say. And these were all some serious people. So
Serious people.
I go off with this guy that Emil introduced me to, and he takes me to this house. Now I go into this house, and there was like a little Asian lady,
Yeah,
this dog that looked like it could kill me in just one
that's
bite.
that's the dog in question. Go ahead. Yeah.
It was like entering a house where you're having fun, blah blah blah, and you walk through the door, and the hairs on your arms just stand up. You're like danger, 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 and yeah, I had a really bad vibe from that house and that person, and that deal didn't go ahead, and that guy went off and killed somebody, didn't he?
Yeah, him and his girlfriend ended up robbing and killing the guy Rick from Empire Glass, which is crazy, crazy.
The same night after I went to that house.
Yeah. Do you realize
Yeah.
how much stuff we've avoided? I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, that
That's
should
why
be that should be in the document. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole nother
this is
chapter.
this is why I'm still smiling, Emil. I'm just happy to be alive. I wake up every day. I just feel so blessed. I've got this life, from the dangerous situations we put ourselves in, also to facing 200 years at one point in the
Yeah.
jail for the importation case. And when you get your life back, you just wow. And I know you've got a lot of wild man stories as well, but let's get back to some of the questions about the celebs before we go back to the old days. All right. So, did you see any online influencers with celebs? That's from T. Lou.
Yeah, that That started. Yeah, I mean, the online thing has been. I had to do a gig with a guy named Johnny Bananas, and I don't even understand it, Sean. The guy comes in with a Maserati. He gets on stage, plays a song on his phone, and goes yip yip yip, and then selfie 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 selfie. And the whole gig was he was gonna pick his friend of the week, which guaranteed you 10,000 followers. And the place was packed, like 800,000 people. He picks the person, and then he's gone. And then I'm left to play music for 2.5 hours. And so yeah, I don't, the, um, I mean, I saw a lot of, um, but they were genuinely cool people. I met, what's the guy that was kidnapped that got his ear cut off? Family. Um, Not Hearst. Is it not Hearst? Um, Really got it. Go
Yeah,
look it up.
I think I know what you
Got
mean, but I can't remember.
um. I hung out with that guy. He was cool. He he was just an alcoholic, and look, money corrupts people, man. I mean, you know, and I'm kind of like kind of the people are saying, well, why can't I say? I mean, like when I worked in the rehab industry, I mean, you would not believe the kind of people that would come in week to week, and you sign NDAs, you can't really say anything. I know, and I'm glad those people have gotten help, but um, the thing about the Hollywood and the music industry, it's like I don't. You have to deal with people's egos first of all, right? And there's a lot of power and a lot of like influence that comes over, and but then have to deal with people's like um you know garbage, you know what I mean, like that comes along with it. Like that shouldn't have to. And people go, oh well, that's just part of the industry. That shouldn't have to be part of the industry. And I'm actually glad now that it's all gone to streaming, and well, now TikTok's done. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm really glad that it's changed because, like you said, the fact that these gatekeepers, like you're talking about Clive Davis, that's all gone now. There's no more labels. So um, you're gonna have to look for. Um, I'm really concerned about some of these YouTube influencers
All
because
right, so I'm sorry, keep going.
no, because I think that there's a face that you show the public, and then there's your private face, and I think a lot of these YouTube influencers have put on such a front. I mean, I see all of them crumbling. It's and they should just be honest and open about their lives. I mean, honesty is probably the best policy. I mean, it's helped you in your life, helped me in my life. I'm not gonna. It's like if I ever, I'm thinking about running for office in a couple of years, and people are like, "Oh, aren't you?" Like I just see you smiling, but people are like, "Well, aren't you concerned?" I mean, what are they going to ask me? What are they going to say? What are they going to show? I mean, like, yeah, okay, you know, uh,
You got a follow-on question. So
okay.
if you're tuning in now and you didn't see what he said about Ash Kutcher earlier and Masterson, um, go back and watch that because it's fascinating. So
I will.
Gina
I will
is
get
saying,
you. I will get you that contact, and if you,
well,
I
well,
that you're gonna have to do some work to get her to come on, but she's a big one. She's a big one. Yeah.
so Gina wants to know if Kutcher took responsibility for his date that was unalived.
No. No, can I tell you something else that really um when my friend Jessica passed, um as with any of my friends,
Jessica passed.
yes, yes,
Our mutual friend Jessica.
yes, she passed, and that was wild. That's a whole nother story, but
Oh my goodness, what were the circumstances of that?
ugh, you want to go deep dive? She was actually, we found out later, she was staying in the Jackson home, which we didn't, which I always got bad vibes about that house.
Which Jackson home?
The Jackson home in right there in uh what's it called? North Hollywood. Yeah, right
She was
there.
staying.
Well, yeah,
And who?
I guess they owned it. The Jackson family lived there for a minute, and yeah, I had been in Montana doing uh, studio install and party, and I got back and I guess her husband had found her, but it looks like she
Who
might
was
have had
she? Who was she staying with?
by herself. And the police never. That was wild because even people in the adult industry like didn't want to. Anytime an adult actress dies of substances or alleged substances or any like they just want to distance themselves altogether. And she was the first Hustler girl. She was the first. Do you know what I mean? She was like the first. She'd won every AVN award. She was like one of the original adult actresses, and they just basically brushed her aside like nothing happened.
Do you think she was unalive because of what she knew about these elites she'd been doing films for?
I mean, she knew a lot of stuff. I mean, there's not. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, she just might have had a seizure. I never got. I just found fascinating. The cops never interviewed me at all, or talked to me about it. There's just like another. And by the way, a lot of adult actresses have died ever since fentanyl. Like a lot of adult actresses have passed away. And they
It's
all
getting.
have. God.
I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Um, but back to what I was saying. I think that like they are a lot of um. I was thinking about that girl. I mean, you're gonna have to do some work to get her on, but she's gonna be huge. She'll tell you everything.
The Masterson survivor. So a lot of people are asking you about Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain. And with Kurt Cobain, what we say unalived. What happened to him? He was unalived.
I think he was just surrounded by a bunch of junkies. That's what it was. I think that they either gave him a hot dose, or I mean, there's been plenty of interviews about, um, when you're surrounding yourself with people that are like still actively using, that happens. You know.
And there was a lot to benefit from that for
I mean,
Courtney,
do you
wasn't
remember?
there?
Do you remember that DJ Jamie J?
No.
That's it. I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean, someone had, uh, according to someone had like dropped him off in front of the hospital, and he had overdosed, and like it's wild. I mean, it's you know.
Mr. S is wondering what you know about River Phoenix and the family and any other connections.
Um, I went to school. I think I went to school with Joaquin and over in La Crescenta. But that family. I mean, what's really sad about the Viper Room is that it'll always be known as the place where River Phoenix died. But that place was great. That place was great. I think it was. I would think it was awesome because you know people could be themselves. And there wasn't a lot of you know there was not a lot of scrutiny back then, but it was all innocent back then. It was just people doing blow and what I mean, I don't want to say innocent, but compared to now, obviously.
So Tracy's asking any info on Angelina Jolie or Madonna?
I mean, what is this? I mean, Jolie's a. What I found really sad is that like their daughter Shiloh um, took Brad Pitt's name off of her last. She doesn't want his last name, and here's what's even crazier: she doesn't want the last name Voight or Jolie either. So what does that tell you?
Wow.
But you got to remember, it's all connected. Like LMFAO is Barry Gordy's grandchildren. Uh, you know what? I'll tell you something that's never sat right with me. You know what? I'll give you something, okay?
Yep.
From the DJ world. You know, Samantha Ronson has gotten away with, and the two Olsen twins have gotten away with a lot, dude. You know that not only were they with Heath Ledger, but they were both spotted with DJ AM before he overdosed. And no one's ever like, it's like, oh, he's you don't know. I mean, like they go out with you the night before and you don't know anything and you're supposed to look out for them. I don't buy it. Yeah, Samantha Ronson's gotten away with a lot. A lot.
Shirley's asking, is Tom Hanks squeaky clean?
As far as I know, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, Nicole
They've not
Richie.
asked-
Yeah.
Oprah's very powerful, isn't she?
I mean, back to the whole Queen Latifah thing, man. You know, I mean, if she's with Gail, who cares? But I mean, I guess at that level, you can't,
So
whatever.
Robert's wondering whether any of the free letter agencies back some of these clubs to attract people they think will be useful.
Well, one of the biggest robberies that ever happened, and I will tell you, it's like one of those things where you don't even. It's not like they're going to hire me at any time, but look, the pandemic caused a lot of people to go bankrupt, and Live Nation bought all of these clubs for pennies on the dollar. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
And if you want to look into artist management, Live Nation, huge, huge.
Okay, let me go to the next one. We've got, do you know anything about the Self-Actualization Fellowship? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I do. I go there.
You go there?
Yeah, I do. I go there.
What is it? What is it?
That's wild that someone asked me about that. Again, it's such a great place. You go meditate, and I'd like to know. I mean, I hope it doesn't turn out like these other Kundalini yoga places. It would be tragic to me, but I'm sure there is. What are they?
Who's
I
behind it?
It's a lot of people. I mean, there's one in Malibu. There's one here in Phoenix. They're all over the place. The
So you think
he's a liar. Yeah, I mean, I could be.
you're getting asked about Jennifer Aniston?
I mean, she used to be at the Viper Room too. I mean, everyone's, that was cool.
Anna Nicole Smith?
Oh, what a tragedy. What a tragedy. She was super. I mean, they just used her up, man. So sad. And she was surrounded, what? And that's the thing about this. You got to look at the people that you surround yourself with are what caused your downfall. I mean, you got to surround yourself with people like, I love having my family around. They'll tell me like you're out of your mind, or this is not good for you. It's not a good look for you. You know what I mean? You got to have people that are willing to step up to you and say, listen, this is not good. And be able to say like some things are morally wrong, man.
You're getting asked if you ever played at a gig that you had to sign an NDA for.
Plenty.
So
Not
does
the
that mean you
not
would
not
never?
the gotta tell you, not the actual gig, but usually the after party 100%.
So does that mean legally you would never be able to talk about those parties?
No, not until it comes out. No,
Not until something came out.
it will. It will.